Welcome back to the reality, guys. I'm your host, Billy Blinks, joined as always by my co-host Brian.
What's going on, everybody?
We're back to talk the last Vanderpump show of the week. It is The Valley, season 1, episode 7, the number one gossip in the group. Obviously, we are making a pun here of Jax Taylor, the self-proclaimed number one guy in the group. This is a theme, man. Season 1 of The Valley's heavy, man. Season 1 of The Valley, very heavy. We take the focus a little bit less off of Jesse and Michelle this week and square it back to Jax and Brittany. Jax, who Brittany has vocalized her issues, obviously with the lack of intimacy, but also seemingly just the lack of partnership that she feels specifically. And I'm not going to speak for him, but he doesn't seem to have as many complaints other than life being tough. Uh, he sets up, he does make attempts this week. Tantric counselor, we could dive into her, Brian. And then the Mondrian room that went really wrong really fast. A disagreement about how to proceed with their lives. More kids. Is that the answer to a failing marriage? Jax doesn't think so. Makes some comments that Brittany doesn't like. Ends the episode with Jax leaving the hotel room. So, Brian, a lot there with them. Yeah, what's your reaction?
It's my reaction to that argument is an argument that I've definitely had in my life since I've had kids. So I could relate to both sides there. And we were talking pre-show about it, and like I'm not saying like I agree with probably Brittany 98%, but
Mhm.
there is that one thing that she did say is like I do everything, and I've been told that too, and like in the heat of the moment. And when you're a dad, it definitely sucks to hear that because you do things. It's just you guys like each person's gonna hold different things at like a priority level,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's just I felt for him for like 5 seconds. Then he said something even stupider right after, where he's just like you, or he said it before, but like you, when he was like, "You can't have like you can't cry here." I was like, "Dude, that's like that's like the last thing you want to say there, the last thing." And I that was really fucked up. So I mean, Brittany to me is she she was right in the argument, but that one moment I've been there, and it sucks, but I'm still siding with Brittany.
Jackson made some under the breath comments about her drinking. He's brought that up before. He also earlier in the episode shushes her a lot during Cruz's speech therapy, and he keeps making the comment how much he's paying him, and it's always this big panic. And it's really tough to see. We've watched these two literally for a decade, and we just I thought this was they would probably end up breaking up at some point, but I didn't think it would be once they were married, having a kid. The one thing I will agree with Jax on in their kind of difference of opinions is that another kid is not going to make things better. It will 100%
No,
add more stress.
definitely not. But I still think they thought that things were going to be okay
I think they
when they
did
were having
too, but the body language, man, between them, they even during the tantric advisor, you see her specifically, she's just not looking at him. She's not in there. He's half the time glazed. I frankly look, they have the cheating rumors that are out there. The cheating rumors were addressed even in this episode. They're talking about the publicist in AC. It's alleged that the publicist is the one that he is now seeing or has been seeing. Would it be much of a stretch for me to believe that at this moment in time in the show, Jax may have already cheated? No, I'm not going to say that it did happen. Obviously, how the hell would I know that? The body language, though, between them, again, I'll always go back to, and the explanation specifically that he gives, the analogy I gave Brian the pre show is that Jax is saying 1+1 = 5. He's giving some reasons why the disconnect's there from his end. But in my opinion, it doesn't equal to the level we're seeing. Right. And
Mhm.
I just think there's more to this story. And I unfortunately think we will see it all play out this season, next season on TikTok. And just a bummer, man. It's just a real bummer.
Yeah, you don't want to see people get divorced, and like it. Especially like, I mean, I have the same problem with Summer House. Like, I don't like either of the people. They never got married, but seeing the
Oh,
you
you feel
know
like
what's
Carl and
coming.
Lindsay?
Yeah, when you know something's coming, it's you're analyzing every single detail of like you said. I was watching her body language. They wouldn't even look at her. If you didn't know this was happening, you would have watched that scene and never even looked at her eyes. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have looked at those things.
Yeah.
So it makes you watch the show different. I mean, I guess for the viewer, I'm sure people are eating that up, but
I mean, it's how we watched Scandival last season, right? Like
yeah,
we all knew it in once the season was going, we found out about it. So we
yeah,
were all just waiting for it to get to the moment the cameras picked back up at the end of the season, right? So it was
right.
all kind of inevitable there.
Mhm.
Interesting. It's just we have a lot in this Vanderpump universe, a lot of exes having to coexist, and it's going to be interesting to see how Brittany exists, because we thought this separation, they had made it seem like it just was a long time coming, and this is, we're talking present day now, and they're doing their podcast and stuff. But now with these cheating allegations coming out in the last week or so, like I think you're gonna Brittany would be way more Ariana than Katie Maloney, right? Like Katie's able to like joke around with Schwartz, and like I I feel like if it comes out that he went to another chick, I see it being a much more adversarial relationship, unfortunately.
But yeah, they're married and kids, so I think it's not saying that like Ariana like shouldn't she has a right to do what she does, but I feel like Brittany has more of a right because
Yeah,
now we're breaking up a family and the kid's also on TV. I mean, it's just like now the kid he can reference these things if he ever wanted to, and his friends can you know what I mean? Like it's all documented for the most part, even with the podcast too. Like there's just a lot of things that like can hit the kid later in life.
it's why like we joke about a lot of people, but it's like the smartest person probably out of that whole crew was Stassi. Yeah, Stassi got herself fired and shit, but Stassi then didn't go on to try to like put herself really back on television. Stassi's like kind of
Yeah.
doing her podcast, she's doing her other things, but she kind of knew when to stop, right? If she came back or tried to get back on TV, that faith stuff is always going to be
Mm.
up, like just like it came up with Kristen a few episodes ago, right? Like, so
Her and the Slender Man. I just
Pete, are you talking about Luke?
yeah.
Luke
He's such a
literally,
boner.
what's funny about Luke this week is Luke turned a little bit more into like survival mode for himself. He's like, well, if I'm gonna be with Kristen, like I had to be friends with these guys, and like I just can't like side with her all the time because she's kind of crazy and she changes the words. And I think it was because it was his words that
Yeah,
got
that's definitely
changed
what.
and misconstrued. That literally where he's like, now you made me look like an asshole. Like,
Right, right. Because he was like involved. He's not that
yeah, he defended her too, even though he knew she caused
yeah,
it in the moment. Like he's a
yeah.
good look, he is the Slender Man, and I still like I just don't understand it. It seems like they aren't going to be together. Like we know she's pregnant, like it's definitely his kid, and so at least he's gonna be in the picture while she's still on television, and she's too good for the show to go anywhere. They're all talking about like, well, we're not going to do anything with you, and they're like, see how quickly she's like, oh shit, like I have to like actually fix this. I need to be able to
Yeah.
go on the trips because I need this show. Like I need the show.
Like as annoying as she is, she's definitely way more interesting than everybody else. Like Michelle and Jesse are they're not interesting.
No, Michelle and Jesse are just sad. Like
Yeah.
Michelle's not cheating on him. Michelle's just miserable. Like it's obvious she doesn't like him. It's all this dude's like now he's pulling out the like my family doesn't get divorced thing. It's like, well, guess what, bud?
I,
It
I
doesn't
love
work
when
like
people
that.
say that divorce is not my
Not my
vocabulary.
vocabulary.
That's like the nail in the coffin comment.
Talking about that.
Say
If you're
that it's I
you know,
saw
me,
actually an article before we got on here that like he was on the red carpet or something with some other chick.
yeah, she's got like some jack dude. I just seen their post on Instagram. Like they both moved on. They didn't like each
Yeah.
like I don't know why he didn't like her. I know why she didn't like him, but like I don't, for whatever reason that just ended when they had kids. And again, maybe people that shouldn't have ever actually been ended up together. And it's just what happens.
I mean, when you have kids, it is your things change. Like obviously, you can't just have sex whenever you want to anymore. Pretty much, like I mean, you can, but like
Yeah.
you're sacrificing sleep, and the first couple of months, man, sleep is like grade
Currency.
A, like S tier currency. So I mean, it just also, yeah. I mean, we've seen the way he acts. I mean, there's just that definitely compounds on something else, and then you're like, yeah, I really don't want to. I'll just do something for myself. I mean, there's so many things that could be a factor, but like not liking the person obviously is going to snowball into things that you're not going to do. So yeah, I mean, everybody's different, but yeah, he's a piece of shit. So
Uh, what else do I have here of note? Yeah, no, not really. Actually, too much. The Jack stuff is gonna be tough. The bowling stuff with Luke we talked about. Jesse and Michelle. But I will note again too. Um, Janet is a pot stir. Janet like will not let anything go. She needs to make sure she mentions the cheating rumor. She needs to make sure this like you're pregnant. Just relax, Janet. Like, just
yeah,
take a few plays. And her husband is going along for the ride. Like, you saw his face when she started bringing stuff up. He's like, "Why are we doing this?" He's
yeah,
like, "But like, what's he gonna do? Yell at his pregnant wife, right? Like,
right.
we've both been there." He's just like, "I'm going for the ride now." Not saying that you should really feel bad for Jax or anything, but it's just like you are going over these people's house. Like every moment does not need to be like a conversation about all the bullshit. Like my
I think
kids.
that just also shows how boring they are. Like they're not, nothing's really going on besides this show.
No, they have no issues. It's ever their issues are everyone else's issues, and
Right.
that's like you said. That's where they'll start to get annoying. It's like the kid who goes to a party who doesn't drink, and he's just like there, and you're just like, "What are you doing here, dude? You're not really bothering anyone, but like,
Yeah, yeah,
you got to bring
yeah,
something to the table here, man. Like, I can't trust you if you're just gonna sit here and
right,
repeat things and watch.
right.
Like,
Yeah, remember things that no one else does.
thank exactly. I don't need you. I don't need you remembering every
Yeah,
detail here, bud.
yeah, you're
Like,
not a stenographer, man. Like,
thank a court stenographer. I like that. Don't be the reality TV court stenographer. I like that.
but, but
That's
I'm
a
with you
one
on that
day.
one.
All right, yeah, we're good on the Valley. We did this is not the only Vanderpump review we did this week. We reviewed Vanderpump Villa. We also reviewed tonight's episode of Vanderpump Rules. That review will be the one that dropped before this review. So make sure you go and check out Vanderpump Rules review if you haven't already. A lot going on. A lot of fences getting mended, a lot of people kind of showing their cards, and a lot of people are not going to be happy. I'll just say that. But for myself, Brian, everyone here at the team, thank you so much for watching.